Now, it's not often we feature vans or commercial vehicles on Car Magazine, but you know what? Today, I've made an exception because check this out. It's called the PV5 and it's the first ever van from Kia.
First seen as a concept in 2024, the PV5 CDV, car-derived van, is now set for production and will be available to order from spring 2025. What you're looking at is pretty much the final version, however, and it will soon be joined by a larger PV7 model at some point in the future. For now though, let's take a look around the PV5.
Now, I've referred to the PV5 as a van, but actually you'll be able to get it in a number of different configurations. So yeah, you've got the cargo van version, but there'll also be a chassis cab and a passenger version as well. And that's all thanks to Kia's eGMPS platform, which they say uses a dedicated battery electric skateboard architecture, which basically means that you've got the powertrain, the running gear, and all the metal bits around that. And then above, you can pretty much add what you want within reason. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later in the video. But for now, I'll tell you if there's any differences between the different models. But one thing that stays pretty consistent is the styling. Starting at the front, we've got a centrally mounted charging port, and that's not just good for customers because you don't have to think about where you're parking it and which side of the road you're parking it, but also the manufacturer because they can appease multiple different markets with just a centrally mounted charging port, which obviously brings costs down, so that's great. We've also got these DRLs, which really form the face of the vehicle, and I think they look like antlers, actually. It's quite a simple design, but it's also very striking, so that's great. And then the headlights are lower down. Talking of great design, I love these wheels. For a van, they're very stylish. 3-spoke, nice chunky spokes, and they look, yeah, quite natty, I think. So that's a big plus. Obviously, being a van, you've got that side entrance, so you can just slide the door back, easily get in there, no problem at all. And then it's the same round the back. It's not a sliding door, but it's split opening like so. And then also the passenger version will have hinges at the top, so it opens like that. Just don't park too close to a wall for obvious reasons. Looking at the back, you can probably see that it's less memorable than the front, but that's to be expected because when you've got this boxy, practical van shape, there's only so much you can do with that. But I really like what they've done at the front end, and I think it's very different to how VW has styled the ID Buzz, because whereas that's got lots of swooping lines, this really embraces the straight lines and the angles, like a traditional van. So which one do you think is the best looking? Let us know in the comment section below.
One thing that the PV5 Cargo absolutely beats the ID Buzz Cargo on, however, is capacity in the back. The ID Buzz Cargo maxes out at 3,900 litres, whereas the PV5 Cargo can hold 5,165 litres, and that's partly because of the optional high roof configuration that the Kia offers.
This is honestly so far ahead of the ID Buzz Cargo. It is in a completely different league. I mean, seriously. You can also get super easy access to the front, obviously, if this bulkhead isn't here, and you go for the 2-seat version rather than the 3-seat version, which is optional. The access through the side, there's a nice low step, which makes it easier to get in. You've got Euro pallet compatibility, so you can easily get a Euro pallet in here. And also, there's going to be the option to fit an L-track mounting system for greater flexibility when it comes to what you want to do with the back of this van. And if you want to charge your drills, your white goods, anything like that, there's charging, vehicle to load charging, so you can take the charge from the battery and put it into whatever you need to do your job. So that's really, really useful. They've definitely thought about this.
Up front, there's the choice between a 2 or a 3-seat layout, and the level of customization on offer is huge. There's also a variety of interior colours and a new durable material, TPO, for the floor that replaces PVC.
Now, I've jumped into the passenger version of the PV5 to show you the interior, because the cargo version actually hasn't got a completed interior yet. So this is the best place to be at the moment, but I'm told that it'll pretty much be the same across both models with a few small differences. But what I've also found out is that it might not be long before you can actually see this interior for yourself, because I understand that Kia has got a deal with Uber coming, so that they're going to supply the PV5 to Uber in its various configurations. So yeah, next time you're on the way home from the pub, a bit sloshed in the back, then check out what car you're in or van you're in, because it could be one of these.
The concept behind the PV5's interior is of a blank canvas that operators can customise with their own unique configurations. What's more, Kia has introduced Kia Add Gear that allows users to modify the storage options and others after the vehicle has been built, meaning you can switch things up for carrying multiple people or using the PV5 on a camping trip, for example.
Now, some of the examples of the Add Gear functionality on this early model include a slot here where you can put your mobile phone if you're a delivery driver, so you can see the sat nav on that if you don't want it on there. And then there's also going to be the ability to plug it in that storage compartment and then directly power your phone like that. There's also another slot in the back for those in the back seat, so you can have cup holders there. And then in the boot, there's further slots to be able to keep your luggage in place to stop it from moving around, because obviously it's got a massive boot. Now, Kia says that the idea behind this is that most of the items that you can slot in will be 3D printed, and they're going to share the specs so that theoretically any company will be able to produce these items and you'll be able to customize it until your heart is content. It's quite similar to a concept that Dacia have also used on their latest cars. And generally, it's just a very good idea, because, I mean, why would you not want more customization? I'm also a big fan of the amount of storage in here. And yeah, it should have a lot of storage. It's supposed to be a practical vehicle. But even so, I think Kia has done a fantastic job here. So there's storage in the floor under the driver's feet and under the passenger's feet, so you can keep your valuables out of sight in there. There's obviously the glove box, but then you've got the wireless phone charging pad here. There's another big space underneath there where you can pull out and put various objects in. There's a door pocket here, there's another door pocket underneath, there's massive cup holders here. You could easily get a big 1 litre bottle of Coke in there, and then underneath the armrest there's further storage, so that's excellent. And I also think it's important to note in here that although this is just my first time getting in it, I don't think it feels too oppressive. And what I mean by that is that obviously there's going to be lots of hard wearing materials, as I spoke about earlier, but there's still some nice design touches. It still feels like a Kia car. At least from here, you've got a proper Kia car steering wheel. You've got the gear selector on the steering column. There's good visibility. Obviously you struggle to see the bonnet a bit, but that's pretty normal for this kind of vehicle. The leather seats are nice and comfortable. It's a nice colour. You can also get different colours in here too. So yeah, overall, it's got a good balance between being durable and practical, but also being nice to sit in and having a few areas of luxury. Yeah.
The PV5 gets a 7-inch digital instrument cluster and a 12.9-inch central infotainment screen that runs an Android-based system with a variety of available apps. The PV5 is also over-the-air update capable and can be used with digital key technology.
Now, I did touch on this earlier, but genuinely the architecture that underpins the PV5 is very clever and very flexible, because as well as the 3 main versions, so the van, the passenger vehicle, and also the chassis cab, there's also going to be other configurations in future as well. So Kia have spoken about a freezer van version, a crew van, drop side, even a camper van, and a disabled access version with a dedicated folding ramp that can take up to 300 kilograms, which is going to be super useful. There's even talk of custom jobs for those with a bit more cash that want to get a super luxurious version, and they can deck it out almost how they want inside. It could end up being like a private jet, but in a van, if that makes sense. And I've also heard that Kia may actually build some of these themselves. And if Kia builds them, then theoretically that means they guarantee it as well. So it's not just a case of getting a third-party coach builder to add all of this on. It could even be from the manufacturer, but I don't think that's confirmed yet. But it's worth watching out for because it could be a game changer.
As for the powertrain, all PV5s will be front-wheel drive with a single electric motor producing about 160 brake horsepower and 184 pounds-foot of torque. Battery choices are 51.5 kilowatt-hours or 71.2 kilowatt-hours, with an additional 43.3 kilowatt-hour version available in the PV5 Cargo, although we won't be seeing this version in the UK. Range will be up to 248 miles with a 10 to 80% fast charge completed in 30 minutes.
You know, it really wasn't that long ago that electric commercial vehicles and vans were, on the whole, pretty terrible. But now, Kia's come along with the PV5, and it looks like it's going to blow all of them out of the water. I mean, sure, we've had the ID Buzz Cargo, that set the trend, and it was a decent effort, but I genuinely think, from early impressions, that this could be even better. It looks like Kia has gone straight in, and they've really thought about what the core commercial vehicle customer base wants from something like this. And if they can properly come through with all of that customization and functionality, this thing, the PV5, could be one of the most versatile vehicles on the planet. Not bad.